Tehillim, I'll say a bittul, please says. Adonai me'adam v'teitno ehu v'nalosh v'tashmehu. Adam lahel damayas ma'av ketzelo ver. Zramtam sheino yehuyu b'boker k'chatzir yachalo. B'boker yatit v'chalaf la'erev yimalev yavesh. Yimei shnatena v'hem shivim shana v'yimigmalot v'nim shana v'avram ki gaz chish v'na'ufam. Nimnot yamenu kenadav v'navila v'av chachmam. Smart Tamar Yashar Kiachri Shalom Achalohim Denaf Shimian Shoki Kacheni Salam Hadadunai Nefesh Abadav Yeshbu Kolachoti Bom Biashov Helfer Al Haaretz Keshaya Haruach Tashum and Halahim Hashanatana. O Lord, what is man that you do regard him, or the Son of Man that you do think of him? Man is like a breath, his days are like a passing shadow. You sweep men away, they're like a dream, like grass which is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers. Years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength, 80. Yet their pride is but toil and trouble. They are soon gone and we fly away. This is Chodesh Nisan. This is the month of Nisan, Chodesh Geula, the month of redemption. As such, we're not permitted to do hespedim. We're not permitted to do eulogies. But I need to define what a eulogy is in halacha. A eulogy evokes tears. You're not allowed to evoke tears during this month. So my words today, I've tried to frame them in a way that it won't evoke tears. Maybe even a chuckle. Because that's what she would have wanted. There's no question about it. If you knew her, she was good for a laugh. And she enjoyed life. But life was not always so great for her. She was born in Brooklyn. She is 88 years old. When I say it wasn't good, I don't mean it in the physical. I mean, she was married to a Holocaust survivor. And Joe Rubenfeld was an Ish Yashar Atzadik. He was truly a righteous guy, but he suffered. He suffered. I don't know how many of you are aware, but for decades, he used to get up in the middle of the night with nightmares, screaming sometimes. And initially it scared me, but she came to grips with it. She's married to a survivor. And a survivor, I mean a real survivor. There was no one else alive from his family at the end of the war. And when he met B, he was able to create life again. And that's such a job. But that's what B married. And that's what she was good for, to create life. And believe me, she created you, all of you. But then you gave life back to her. And the last years of her life, that was because of you. And you made it so. But her greatest joy was to live for her children, her grandchildren, and then, of course, little spice afterwards, great-grandchildren. Like my Bubby used to say to me, Auntie, I can hear her saying it. You're my principal, the grandchildren, they're my dividends. Right? That are my dividends. That's what I worked for. That's what I wanted in life. And together, they were the model Balabatim. If you want to be a rabbi of a congregation, get yourself some Rubenfelds. I'm telling you. They are great. They don't complain. They're quiet. And they're doers. They're doers. They're contributors. They make life worthwhile. When I came on the scene, Mrs. Oris, Aunt B's mother, was living with them in the Rubenfeld home. And she cared for her mother. And they, believe me, they sacrificed going on vacations. They sacrificed making trips because of her mother. And Joe was a real tzaddik about it. He really was. And Aunt B, this is what I was made for. This is part of life. And you got to do it. And she modeled Kibud Aim. She modeled how to honor a mother, and this was her. I used to call her Aunt B. I was the one who decided she was Aunt B. And I modeled, obviously it's Aunt B from the old Andy Griffith show. And when that show ended, the lady, the actress who played Aunt B, loved Mayberry, Carolina. She lived there. And then it was appeared in the newspaper that she died. So I immediately called Aunt B and I said, Aunt B, they're looking for a replacement in Mayberry. Are you up for it? She cackled with me, but Aunt B stuck. I never called her anything else but Aunt B. And she was a joy in my life. She really was. We enjoyed together what life had to offer. She was a very special woman. The only thing that bothered me about her, she was a terrible cigarette smoker. She was an addict. The first years, I never saw her without a cigarette in her mouth. But she realized she had to break the habit. And how did she do it? Thank God for M&Ms. She substituted M&Ms for cigarettes. And every year, this time of year, for about 5-6 years in a row, I would get a call from Aunt B, Rabbi, are M&Ms kosher for Pesach? I said, no, Aunt B. And she was not a happy person. But every year she would call, M&M's kosher yet for Pesach? They have an OU. I said, not an OUP. Okay. But that's what I mean about bringing up a hesped, which is not to evoke tears, but to invoke joy. And I want to challenge you. We're talking, this shiva is going to be aborted. It's going to be a 2-day shiva. And then you get up from shiva. The rest of shiva is canceled. Don't believe that you're shortchanging your mother or your grandmother, your great-grandmother. You're not. This was the way of God, to make it so that you shouldn't mourn so severely, but turn it into a celebration of her life. When you sit down at the Seder, it's okay. It's okay. And I want you to tell the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, and over dinner, tell stories about Aunt B. Enjoy her. She was a joy for you, and she was a joy for me. And I'm so happy that when Carol called and asked me to do this service, because it's the least I could do for the years that we celebrated life together. I'm going to go back a couple more incidents. Carol was the president of the sisterhood, and we had a Yom HaShoah. And, when I first came here, there was a house on the prairie. It's what Sterling Road, Young Israel was all about. We were about 40, 45 families. Who knew that it's going to be the way it is now? Unbelievable. But so I came to Joe Rubenfeld and I said, Joe, I need to make a Yom HaShoah commemoration in memory of the Holocaust every year. He said, great. I'm so glad you're doing it. I'm not coming. But you have to understand, Holocaust survivors, you never judge them. Never judge them. They go by a different clock. The rules of life are changed forever. Forever. So he didn't come. So when Carol was president, we had a speaker for Yom HaShoah, and Joe Rubenfeld showed up. He listened and listened to the speaker. Then we opened it up for questions. He raised his hand and said, I want to speak. Carol's mouth, her jaw dropped. And B was buggy-eyed. She was startled. But I remembered a Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov said that when you go through a traumatic incident, you're going to go through 3 stages of life. The first stage is Bechia, crying. You have to cry over it. Second stage is demia, which is silence. You can't talk about it. And this is what Joe went through for decades. Then all of a sudden, one morning, the third stage clicked in, Zimra, which really means singing, but it really, in this context, means that's all you can talk about. It just turned like a switch, and he wanted to talk about it. And that happened. Those nightmares took place until he went to Europe to visit his home. And believe it or not, miraculously, those nightmares stopped. And B came to my office to tell me the miracle that occurred in her home when her husband stopped having nightmares at night. And we rejoiced. Past the M&M. I mean, it was just that kind of a sensation. But she continued to go on. Joe Rubenfeld was the original candy man in our show. He had a bucket of candy next to his seat on the aisle, the far side of the show. He got upset. I couldn't understand why he got upset. So the next Shabbat, there was a sign on the candy that said, "Say thank you." Wow. and B, I called the house to tell her how I was so proud of him. And she was so happy, get it in there. But it was just, this was living life to the fullest. As whatever cards God deals you, you play them. You don't get a chance to throw in your cards. You play them. One time, years ago, I was with the Rubenfeld family and Bergsons. You guys were about bar mitzvah age, maybe a little younger. I went to Yad Vashem. I went through Yad Vashem, and I went with you. And I had been there about 4 or 5 times already, so it wasn't new. But for you, it was all new. And Kobe, Eitan, Aaron, they came over to me at the end, and they said to me, "Rabbi, where was God? Where was God through this?" And I said, "I have the answer for you, but it doesn't come from me. When your Zaidi comes through, you're going to ask him that question. Don't ask me." So your grandfather came through, and you were all over him. You were all over him. Where was God? Joe didn't bat an eyelash. He looked at you and said, "Do you see me? Do you see me? Married, children, grandchildren. That's where God is. That's where God is." And I reflect on that. We're going through a pandemic. There would have been hundreds of people here today if it weren't for this pandemic. That she was shortchanged. But through Zoom, maybe we have more people. So who knows? I can only say with sadness in my heart, but an upbeat spirit, that I could say I knew Andy, and I loved Andy, and I will miss Andy. And that's the spirit we have to have. So we're going to continue now with the burial, and that's going to be lowering the casket.
Can
Did you want to speak?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay, very good. Come. Smile for the camera.
Grandma, tough day, and we're all here with you, even though we all can't physically be here. And just want to say some words. You were the matriarch of our family. You set the tone for everything. All the years that you took us for Pesach, to the Eden Rock and the Fountain Blue, and all the special family events that we all did together. started with Grandpa Joe, when Grandpa Joe was alive. Then you continue the tradition. And those are memories that we'll never forget in our life. And how appropriate that.
I got your house.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I had so many family come in, and I could always count on housing some of my family in the Rubenfeld home because they went for Pesach.
That's right.
Absolutely.
She loved doing it.
She loved it. And we're currently right before Pesach, and in this process right now, right before Pesach, and I can only think about how Hashem has certain plans, or now you're with Grandpa, and right before this time, and just think about how much young Israel and the shul meant to you, and how much your special relationship, like Rabbi Davis was saying, and you touch so many lives. One of the reasons I moved from California, of course, to be with my family here, but was to have that special opportunity to go to shul with you every week, until unfortunately I got sick. But that we'll never forget that. And my kids, we would always go there, go to Grandma's house after shul. We would have a little candy, sometimes a couple more candies than they were allowed, and we would just sit together and just laugh for an hour or so, and just be together. And then afterwards, when we were there, you were in your home in Boynton Beach. The kids would always sing and perform for you and all your friends there, and you loved it, and you were always so proud of them. You kept on saying, that's mine, and special. And one other special memory I have, of course, you love Price is Right. And when I was living in California, you came to visit me, and we went to Price is Right together. It was Bob Barker's last season. And there was a long line. We got there at 3 a.m, and there was still a lottery to get in. And unfortunately, we were like 10 people away, and we didn't get in. So we were trying to negotiate with people to see if we can get one of their tickets. And you offered a $5 bill to someone, and you said, "Will this change your mind?" And he looked at you, he looked at Grandma and said, "Man, that's $5. I've been waiting here since 2 a.m. And then she asked me, she goes, "What do you think he wants?" I said, maybe 100 or 2. She said, "Wow, that's crazy." I said, I know. I said, but 3 years later, we went to Price is Right. It wasn't with Bob Barker, it was with Jerry Springer. And we were able to do that. All your work with the Bikur Cholim, all your work in the shul, all the work that you've done with our family, raising Mom and Uncle Stephen, and six grandchildren, 6 great grandchildren, and we love you very much. Gonna miss you, but we appreciate Rabbi Davis, we appreciate Rabbi Weinstein, Rabbi Freiberg, and all the rabbis of Young Israel and rabbis everywhere that it's affected our family, and it's been an influence on our family, and we love you, Grandma.
Grandma, what an amazing life you've had. Being around you was so fun, entertaining, and inspiring to all of us. You've been there for me since I was a little kid, all the way to a young adult, a husband, and a father. I'm going to cherish all the memories we had together. I'll forever cherish all the Passovers we spent together as a family at the Eden Rock, Fountainblue, and even Israel. The Shabbat dinners and the sleepovers at your house when you were little kids, the family trips to Israel, Disney, and even the cruise on your 80th birthday. We always had so much fun together. One story that comes to mind when Grandpa was alive was when me and Kobe were sleeping over on a Friday night, and me and Kobe got into a little scuffle of who was faster. So we decided to race. And we started to go outside, and Grandpa wanted to come. And Grandpa, of course, went to race with us, and he fell and he bruised, and Grandpa got up and he was laughing. And I'll never forget, Grandma, you were yelling at Grandpa. And Grandpa just kept on laughing. And then all these years later, we would always laugh about that story. Grandma, you always loved telling that story about that. Even when I got older and I graduated college and I moved back to Florida, you would always invite me to Shabbat dinner. When I got married, even Lisa would come with me. And we just always enjoyed spending time with you. You were the life of the party. Everyone would always talk about you. All my friends would always say, your grandma's amazing. You were the cool grandma everyone wanted to be around. You were the rock and heart of our family. You lived a fulfilling life to your family, your friends, and of course the shul. You were so selfless and always wanted to do everything you can to help everyone else. You would always make the whole family laugh, especially when you would yell at Mom about something. I'll never forget the time we actually went to Disney World together, and we were taking you on all the rides with us. And you just kept yelling at Mom that this was a rough ride, and I can't believe you're taking me on all these rides. It is amazing that you were able to attend the weddings of 4 of your grandsons and were there to see 7 great-grandchildren. You were always there for me no matter what. On my birthday and special occasions, you were one of the first phone calls I would receive. If it was my birthday, 8 a.m., Grandma would be the first one to always call me. When I went to sleepaway camp for almost 10 years, Grandma would write me letters twice a week, long letters. And I would always look forward to reading all those letters you sent me. I'll never forget, even into my early 30s, about 6 years ago, there was a bad rainstorm and I couldn't get home because Aventura was severely flooded. So I didn't know what to do, if I should stay at a hotel or stay at a friend's. And I called Grandma, and she insisted I come. And I came, I slept over that night. She made me dinner, she made me breakfast. And it was like going back to old times when I was a kid. And I'll never forget that. She even offered me, she still had Grandpa's 20-year-old deodorant because I didn't have any stuff with me. And she started going through her stuff to see if, stuff she could give me because I didn't have any of my stuff. You were also a terrific wife, mom, sister, and grandma and friend. You were vibrant, kind, sharp, and had a terrific sense of humor. Everyone would always talk about your sense of humor. Friends, family, even people that didn't know you that well, that had just met you for the first time. People just love being around you. I'm going to miss you so much. I know you and Grandpa are together, smiling, laughing, and looking down at all of us. I love you, Grandpa.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming virtually to pay their respects to my mom. If she were here, she would say in my ganze Leben, I never would imagine my funeral would be like this. This is a Narishkeit. Where are the people? Where is the chapel, the limousine? Grandma B, or as some of you know her, Aunt B, was a woman who loved her family, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. She loved her shul and Hollywood, where she lived for 40 plus years. I'm sure some of you have vivid memories of my mom in shul with her perfect outfit and her hat to match. She would sit in her seat, give little kids lollipops, and of course, give out the Shabbos sheet to everyone on her side of the mechitza and wish them a good Shabbos. Her favorite holiday was Pesach. And she would start getting into Pesach mode, of course, before Purim, getting geared up with her outfits and talking with my brother Stephen and me, and of course her grandchildren. Going to the Eden Rock and then the Fontainebleau was her dream. She loved sitting at the table and enjoying being with Kobe, Eitan, Mayron, Harrison, Zach, Carly, Justin, and Alana, and then searching for chairs at the pool. As years went by, our family grew, Kanai Nahara, and as she would say, make a five, make a five. The boys married and brought their wives, Pesach, Racha, Lisa, Jackie, Susie, great-grandchildren, Rivka, Ruthie, and Kelly. Unfortunately, she became sick with Alzheimer's, and Rebecca, Emily, Joey, Josh, and Joe never made it. But they are going to hear great stories and wonderful special memories of our days at the Eden Rock for Pesach. Those memories will live on in our family forever. And that is why it's fitting that my mom passed before Pesach. My mom was a strong woman who had very strong opinions. And I know most of you out there will remember her for that. Now my mom will finally be reunited with her Joe. She will be missed in the community and especially by her family, who she loves so very much. Ma, please rest in peace and know that we all love you.
Hi, Stephen is out here. I'm going to speak remotely just for a moment. Can you guys hear me there?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
All right, good. First, I just want to thank everybody. I know this is the weirdest thing that we've ever done to attend a funeral in this way, but it's a true tribute to my mother that there are 92 of you on this Zoom event. And as everyone's been speaking, I've been reading the chats that you've been leaving, tributes to my family and to my mother. Believe me, they're very much appreciated. Hopefully, we'll all meet soon under better circumstances to be able to share our memories. Beatrice Rubenfeld was a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, a cousin, a friend, and a confidant. She was at least one of these things to each of us, and in each role she provided to us, she excelled. A true Eshes Chayil, a woman of valor. She provided for us at our home a rich Jewish environment, a true example of what it meant to live in a Jewish way. From Friday night Shabbat to going to shul, to ensuring our Jewish education, to putting herself actively into enriching her community. She served as PTA president of my yeshiva, Hank. She served as a board member for Young Israel of Hollywood. Her visitations at Hollywood Hospital as part of Bikur Cholim. She believed in not just talking the talk, and you know that my mom could talk, but walking the walk. And she volunteered her time and was generous with her tzedakah as well. It's perhaps not ironic, and I think Kobe, Eitan, and Carol had said this, that her passing comes right before the holiday of Pesach. It was always her favorite holiday, celebrated with her extended family of children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren at the Eden Rock and Fontainebleau venues. She really just loved it. Even the one year that the Eden Rock was closed for renovation, she said, we're not giving up on this. And she took us all to Israel for an experience of having Pesach in Israel and in Yerushalayim. She was a true matriarch to us, and she knew it. Bea had earned a reputation for being totally honest, maybe too honest sometimes, but I think that endeared her to many of you, and I could see that in the comments. From my visits with her to the Grand on Sterling Road, it would be impossible to walk in there with her with at least 3 or 4 families getting up to greet her warmly. And whenever I attended young Israel during my visits, I would always be introduced as B. Rubenfeld's son. I will always be proud to have that on my life's resume. My heart goes out to all of you, especially my sister Carol. Her care for our mother was a true act of kibbut av v'em, a true mitzvah. As for Mom, I want us all to remember that person, not the one that Alzheimer's cruelly robbed us of. Please keep your memories and old images and experiences of her alive. And to Mom in heaven with Dad, I got news for you. The tea room is open.
Thank you, Stephen. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Let me show you where to push the button. Just pull it. Take one first shovel you use backward to show that you're not rushing the things, and then you turn it over with the shovel. If you want to hand it off to the next family member, don't hand it to them, just put it in the dirt, okay? And then when you guys are tired, we'll put it. And this is very much. I'd like sparring with it. It's a daily activity. I still wouldn't go out there. Merci beaucoup. Be extra careful around the open grave, though. Ready?
Let's do it. Give it the carol.
Remember, after before
We
you
need
leave,
to have,
don't touch your face and wash your hands with soap. If you're touching the surface of multiple people, touch, no problem. Don't touch your face, and when you go to the office, wash your hands with soap. You're good to go.
go ahead. This is the Chipirat Batoamo. So earth and Israel will give us its own.
Somebody else wants to put some dirt down? Are you done? Gentlemen, take your shovel. One second, I'll get it. You guys go ahead. It's a chesed shalemes that only from Yidden should be touching every bit of dirt until the person is going. I'm gonna miss the Vice's kick of her out. That's fine. But if each family member wants to take a chair and move it back about 20 feet, they're gonna dismantle this and bring over the dirt so we can finish the food. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I need you to help you move this. No problem.
The tripod gonna be in the way?
Yeah. Bring the tripod where you guys are, because you're gonna make a tour of Pasa. And then we will say welcome to you guys. I'm not used to technology and all of it. I'm uncomfortable when my wife looks at me. Guys, stand back a little bit for social, whatever. This way and then that way? No. Gentlemen, don't touch the thing.
Not everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's put this in. Let's put that there.
Thank you very much. Stand just a little bit further away from us. Okay? You can carry if we have something you don't want.
Thank you. Can they stay on the stairs while they're waiting? The family is sitting and watching. Can they sit on the stairs?
Okay, no problem.
You sure? Leave this. Leave this one. Because we're gonna work on this. Guys, can you leave that? No, we can't. We have to take the plane. Guys, we have to do it. We have to take the plane. Here. We'll even bring it back to the office when we're done if you'd like.
Just take this moment to remind everyone, if you haven't yet, please post a message with your name in the chat. It's going to be a virtual guest book that we share with the family afterwards.
Is that where Bobby's from?
Rabbi, say Kamala.
no reason to do it twice. Do it, have a chapel service. Tell all the you're doing this, you tell all the they have to after the things go, they're gonna put the after the other on the pole, they're gonna stick this metal thing on. I know the time. You don't want the dirt to fall in the thing. You want it to be on the board. We're gonna put the dirt in from the board. Just move up a little.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Thank you very much.
Right here. No, Daddy said I had to. Daddy said I had to.
I wasn't gonna make you guys wait around. No problem. Guys, get in the front of the back. Down there on the you can do it over there too. That's fine. You guys want to put the plate down? Yeah, we're gonna do that. I think it's enough. Tell us when you have enough. Guys, enough? All right, just fill that one corner. Okay. Step aside, let's put the plate down.
guy's gonna step out just a little bit. Sorry. Your mommy and I had a really, really special relationship. Nothing gave us more pleasure than trying to get each other. Every time I did it. I loved it. I loved it. You're crazy, Isaac. I'm aware. How will you look at this?
She never said.
You're crazy, Isaac. Okay, so you'll have a good time. We're gonna kick all these family members out so we can finally go on a real date. I'm telling you, it went on for years.
Boys, thank you so much. It's a big mitzvah. The person who you're doing it for can't, and that's the biggest mitzvah that you have. Thank you.
Guys, let's move away because they're gonna have to.
Thank you all for helping. I really appreciate you guys coming.
My dad says thank you.
Please all remember not to touch your face, don't touch your hair. That's the only thing you have to remember. Now I'm talking like a medical guy. Just, you can touch anybody and anything you want. Make sure you go wash your hands with soap and then touch your face. This is one of those that most places only probably one of those most first time I see another shovel there, guys. Take it. We'll take that.
And what's that? Eddie, what is that?
That is going to go on the top.
That's it.
That goes on top of the another degree. It will fit.
Guys, this is gonna be very nice.
percent off. Are you still open? Okay.
You can't find it.
Just like mommy.
No, just put it all, go 2 feet forward, put it all down and roll through the job. Thank you. Okay, a little more. Look at it from the grass. All right. Don't worry. Just don't want it going in the thing. No problem. Thank you.
No, I was, yeah, one eye. So Kevin was the one eye guy.
Rubbish.
Joey says who I was. On the video it says that Joey says who I was. Yeah, I thought you knew. Yeah, Kevin was the one eye guy. I thought that was Joey.
How do you like that?
I know, but I bought it for him.
And I think it's good.
Yeah.
like to remind everyone that even though we can't do a proper Shiva, we're going to be having some virtual memorial services on Zoom this evening and tomorrow evening, where people can share memories with the family and be with them virtually, since we can't be with them in person. Those details have been emailed out to the Young Israel email list. For those of you who are not on that list, I will try to paste it into the chat, or you can contact me directly afterwards, and I'll be happy to share it with you. I just pasted the information there. If you have any problems connecting, I just pasted my email address, and I'll be happy to help you. There's my cell phone number. And we hope you'll be able to join us this evening at 7:30, tomorrow evening at 7:30 as well. If you haven't had a chance to post your greeting in the chat area, please do that. That's going to be our virtual guest book that we share with the family.
We're married, so we push hard in the back, not in the front. And let's push this up in the back. Yeah, it's set. So yeah, push hard in the back. Can you roll over and bring us more? Listen up. Listen up.
Yes.
Yeah, never forget
You
it.
remember that?
Oh, it's porn.
No.
You see, Carol, the weather held up.
Oh, Steven, stop.
What, Stephen?
I said the weather held up,
I know. You see that? It didn't rain. It was a miracle.
and that I can't. That guy with the hair, I can't make fun of.
Guy, what?
She didn't hear you.
Can you repeat that? What?
I said it, and I can't make fun of the guy with the hair during the rain. Like,
No, right. Right. So the guy who's shoveling, Stephen,
yeah, I
is
said,
Mark. He was Mom's neighbor, and he loved Mom. He always him and Mom had a funny relationship.
You know, every mistake I make, I hear her complaining at me.
That's true, because
believe me, this is the first funeral my mother was at that she wasn't screaming the loudest.
that's true.
You just can't hear her.
You just can't hear her.
This man, in it.
Yeah, that's Mark,
That's Mark. Well, he knew what he was doing. He did
Yeah.
well by me.
and he helped set up the Zoom, I think, too.
He's trying very hard to make it.
Keep going, guys. Try and go to the left. You won't move to the left. It won't. Push it.
I know, but then
You don't have to do that. You're gonna have to go higher than where you're at. You want to bring more dirt in? All right, guys, step away. Let them finish the dirt. You want us to finish this on the right first? Okay, guys, let's go. No problem.
These kids are in cool.
The whole thing.
Straight out the green.
Thank you, guys. Step away. Let him put the dirt down. Put it on. He's gonna bring it to the end over here. Thank you very much.
Kobe, did you? Stephen, was Shalamis able to get on?
Yes,
Yeah, she's on right now.
she's watching
So
with Brian.
you can talk to her. I see her. I see Brian. Lenny Kaufman's out there.
And was Connie and
Connie
Shani?
and
Connie and
Shani
Shani,
were
yes.
both on
Lenny,
there.
Lenny's there,
still
Mark.
there. Mark,
And
Rhonda's
Rhonda?
there.
Yes,
The
yes.
Rubensteins are there. Norman is there. The Schlinskys are there. Sarah is there. Connie's still on. The Kornbluths are there. Alana is there.
I'm just
Lori's on. Mark is on. The Gold Glances. Dave Lewis, Jeff Lewis, and their sister were on.
When I give you the guest book, I'll also give you a list of everybody who was on, just in case there are people who didn't sign.
Thank
Right.
you.
You'll save me all the time.
Bob Ashan.
Thank you.
Cheryl
You know,
Dennis.
Mom wouldn't, I'm saying it because Mom wouldn't wanted to know who was on.
This is true.
This is her big time. This is her debut on TV.
I said to Avi, I said, Mom, in a way, would have loved this because it would be to her like being 90 minutes on TV.
Right. Or she would have said, I never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot that line. I never heard that.
Stephen, she's getting good ratings.
Oh, you better believe it.
You would have liked it, maybe.
Carol
Carol is there, too.
Carol, I spoke to him yesterday.
Jackie's there.
Is Mayron still there, or he went?
I think
Jackie's there.
I see
We see
Jackie.
Jackie.
Mayron was on earlier, I know.
Get above the grass
Yeah, he
line.
had to go.
We're gonna make the shape of the body.
I'm here.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Our prayers are with
Rabbi
you, Jackie.
Davis is going to
Hello?
make a special bracha for at the.
I think Ron's still here.
Hi,
Carol.
Bracha.
I'm still here too. I'm still
Jackie.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mayron.
Hey, Mayron. Sorry, I didn't see you.
So Rabbi Davis is going to make a special bracha for Joey,
Good.
Mayron,
Right.
and Jackie.
Okay.
Wow.
Is that sticker?
Hey, Carol, there were at the height, there were 92 people on.
The guy almost
Cutting
fell
in and
in.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
That would have been an interesting
Mom
story.
would like that.
Yeah,
Chad Company.
like the hat we saw at the Francis's funeral.
It was more than 92 because people were on as couples and families.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Closer to 300.
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Avi.
Thank you. Avi Fryer Yashikoa, thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
technically, this went a lot better than I thought it would be.
Guys, I beg of you, remember that you touch things. So when you touch the cap, don't fiercely, don't let it touch your mouth. Probably better you just wait till you wash your hands with soap before
Right.
you eat it.
Right.
Is the chapel open? You can go in and use their bathrooms before getting in your cars, so you don't touch your cars.
Well, we're going to wash our hands.
Yeah, in the bathroom before you get in your cars. Don't even touch your cars until after you washed.
Thank you.
How do you not? Well, we have to use the bathroom inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting to you.
If they don't, then we can't go back home.
Then we can.
That's right. You got to be clean.
So you're going to put it
Can I put
on top of where the green is, right next to
Can I
it.
put it out?
Ask Rabbi Davis. Rabbi, you want to sit down?
Please forgive my mode of rest. There were two specific reasons why I chose to rest down.
I don't
Both
want
were
to step
good ones.
on very good ones. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Got more up there. There it goes.
Hey, Carol?
Yeah.
Carol. Carol.
Yeah.
There's a minion there, right?
No. Oh, we
Yeah.
have a minion.
You're
Do
right.
we have a minion,
minion.
Rabbi?
Yeah, we do.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we do.
So we have a minion.
Okay,
Okay,
good,
good.
good. So
That's
we could
so
say
close.
we could say
So
Kaddish
you
at
could say
least.
Kaddish.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute.
Wait, how much do you have to have?
10. So count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, more than
Wow, we have 10.
We'll get the sides
we have
here.
more than 10. We have like, wait, I'll count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The funeral guy is not Jewish. Howie Seif is talking to him if he wants to convert him now. Did you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's very funny.
if you got
About,
someone who could do a circumcision real time, that would be.
well, he can. Howie, that's why he said he could do a double.
Oh, how many men? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I've heard the name.
Carol, Carol,
Grandma,
And a breath.
Carol,
Yes,
this is Dina Seif.
I know.
I'm
Dina, it's so
so-
nice that Howie's here.
But you know what's even more amazing? He's
What?
wearing a suit. He got dressed up for your mother.
I what?
He got dressed up for your mother. He doesn't like to get dressed up anymore.
See that? Dina said, God was dressed up for your mother. He said, you
I
got
thought it was
dressed
him. I thought I didn't see him leave the house. I thought he was just wearing a polo shirt, and I see him here. He's wearing a suit.
up. You see, he gave my mother kavod.
That's right, he did. And you should know that all my children are all of our children are just heartbroken.
Thank
And they
you,
send their
Dina.
love to you and the entire
Can you
family.
hear it?
Should I?
Eitan.
If you want, Daddy, I know how to
Eitan.
make you see it. Should I do it?
You see her?
No, I know how to see that.
Carol, you still have 52 people who are on this call.
Amazing, Jane.
It's amazing.
My
Amazing.
mother would. My
It's,
mother would love it.
it was
I
so,
gotta tell her who was here.
Look how much people.
Just for the shovel. Bring it up from that side. Over here where I'm at. Pull it up. This could be a lot higher. No.
He doesn't see my hand?
Is that how you find it?
Yeah.
Melt the head higher. Yeah. A little bit more.
Shalamis. I love you, Shalamis. Brian.
Hi.
Where are you? Do you hear us?
Yeah, Rabbi's talking.
Oh.
And that's Kaddish.
Yiskadel v'yikadash shmei Rabba. Yamal v'yarabi. Say.
Israel, Agolav is one Karim, Tamiam Bialma, Ramen, Vachayim Aleinu, Yako Israel, Bimramen, Shalom,
Before I do the pseudo Kelmole, just want to mention the names of the family that are here and not here. The children, Carol, Charlie, Stephen with Barbara. Grandchildren, Kobe, Eitan, Meron, Harrison, Zachary, and Carlene. Great-grandchildren, Rivka, Ruthie, Kelly, family, Joey, Josh, and Joe. I want to add a special Mishabera for Cholim for Yosef, Akiva, Ben Yocheved. And D, you have to be a Melitza Yosher.
Amen.
Joey.
Amen. Amen.
אנו אדוני מלא רחמים אשר יום אחד נפש כל חי ורוח כל בשר איש אשר יהינו לפניך ורצון
Amen. Amen. Amen.
ברכה בת יעקב שאהבך לעולמך וכמוני מחס לך הגדול לפתוח בשערי רחמים וחסד בשערי גן עדן ושעקבה מלאכיך הקדושים להוליך והושיבה תחת עץ החיים עצות נשמע לצדיקים וצדקניות ועוד תשמח לה הכל בשעריהם ונשמתה צאצא תשועה בתורה חיים והחייתה בתחיית המתים וכל מתיהם חיים תשועה ורחמים ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen,
Parallel lines.
come around here. Guys, come around here. Come around here. The people that are not the available, everyone come stand 6 feet apart. And let's just stand over here.
You go over there and then walk this way. No. Have her walk this way. Have her walk this way.
Let's do it, Lenny.
No, that's it. No.
Lenny.
המקום ינחם אתכם בסוף שעריו ולעי ציון בירושלים.
Okay. To break the line, I thank everyone for coming.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi. Very much.
Let's bring these to the office.
Amazing.
The guys were nice enough to
Let's
leave, but don't have to.
Yeah, I'll need some for the next.
Drink another couple.
Guys,
of
let's
wine
bring the
for
stuff they
Yeah,
left so they don't have to come back.
I love his belt buckle.
Thanks, everybody, for being here, either there or online.
It was a privilege. It was a privilege to be here. It
Thank
was.
you, Jane.
I wish we could have been there in person.
Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שער אבלי ציון בירושלים.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen,
Thank
I'm collecting memories in my head of so many of the times you came. And I was thinking of Pesachs, when you used to come when you were little kids. You went to your grandparents
loved
for
it.
one,
Yeah.
and you came to us for the other in Williamsburg. And I remember one Pesach, one Seder when you came to us. I don't know how old you are, maybe 4 or 5, and you sat under the table most of the time.
It's my favorite spot at weddings, bar mitzvahs, and Pesach.
Yeah,
I
I can
still-
still see it.
We still,
Very happy down there.
we still sing Adir Hu using the niggin that your family taught
My
us.
father used.
Yeah,
Adir
the favorite
Hu.
part of the Seder.
Yeah. Those
Hey,
are
hey, Dad.
wonderful memories.
Yes, Carly. Yeah.
Yes,
Got it.
Paul.
We're about to sign off.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
We
we'll
love you,
see
Carly.
we'll
Thank
see
you for
tonight.
I'll talk to you.
Love you.
I'll talk
Go
to you
wash.
guys.
Go wash. Wash.
Before you go in the car.
Bye.
That's
Thank
right.
you, everybody, again.
Take care. I'll be in touch.
Stephen, I'll keep this open as long as people are here that want to talk to you until you're ready to sign off.
Thanks,
Yes,
Avi.
Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa. We see you.
Lisa, we love you.
Stephen, comfort among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen,
Hey, Lenny.
what a beautiful tribute.
What a beautiful trip.
It was,
Better than we thought.
I didn't know how this would go, but, thanks to Avi for doing this and for everybody.
I think you made
It
your mother
was-
proud.
Yeah,
Just, it's
very
so
much
hard
so.
not to be able to be there, I'll tell you.
Meaningful.
It's incredible, Shalamas, to see you
Yes,
from Israel. Oh my.
that's right.
That's-
Yeah, all the way from Israel. Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, to good things, to good things. We have to remember the good things.
This is true.
We have to remember the good things, right, Bo?
There were a lot of good memories.
Yeah, we have to remember the good things.
Stephen, I'm going to sign off. I send love
Okay.
to you, and it was a very special tribute to an amazing woman, and I'm just glad now that your mom is able to join your father, and may her soul rest in eternal peace.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Love you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Ditto. Take care, guys.
Unreal.
I'm gonna go.
Science fiction book.
Take care, Lo.
You
Take
too.
care,
Love you.
Stephen.
Take
We'll be
care,
in
everybody.
touch.
Have a good Pesach, as well as you can do it under
We'll be-
the circumstances.
We'll be thinking of you,
We're thinking of you.
and your family and your mom and your dad.
It's my favorite time. It was their favorite time. Really was.
Take care. Yeah. To good things, dear.
Yeah, it was.
Steven,
Yeah.
Take care.
it's Connie.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Thank
It
you so
was
much for
an
coming.
unbelievable tribute to your mother. Just what she deserved, the best, and all the loved ones that were here to share it with you. And we love her. We loved her. And she did a great job with both you guys raising you. She was a wonderful mother. She was a wonderful cousin. She was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful friend, and we love her.
She really embraced, my dad's family and all of you. So
They
and you all-
adored her.
and you all treated her like she
I
was
said
part
to
of the
Carol
family.
yesterday, she's a Rubenfeld, a true
Right.
Rubenfeld.
But with an E. But with an E. No I. E.
Exactly. We'll take it with an E or an I. Either way works.
I just
by
had
us.
to get that in there.
Yes, you did. And it takes me back to when she was trying to get me to quit smoking, and she was trying to dump all her M&Ms on me. She said, "Get into it, Connie. It works."
For her, it worked, and she didn't gain
I
weight.
remember I give it another try, honey. Give it another
Yeah.
try.
And
I have to
it
tell you
didn't affect
something
her
that-
weight, I'll tell you.
No, not at all.
Right.
And
So
I
it's a
used
good
to ask
method.
her how she keeps her weight so perfect, and she said it works for me, Connie.
Yeah, it did.
And, what should I tell you? I remember visiting there. We would stay up till 2, 3 in the morning. Your father came looking for us. Where we She was such a good person to talk to. She gave and she listened and she talked,
Yeah.
and it was just what a friendship, what a love,
Yeah.
and such a giving person. And we loved her very
Thanks, you
much.
guys.
And you have great memories that you should hold in your heart and very close to your heart, and they should keep you going for 120 years. And
Thanks, Connie.
your Melitz Yosha for all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amen, amen, amen. Yes.
Yerushalayim.
Thank you. Thank you. Shko.
And all the best.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. Be well.
Bye, Shalamis.
I'm gonna drop.
Bye, Hanala.
I'm gonna drop.
We'll
it.
talk. Okay,
care,
take
everybody.
care. Bye.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Avi.
Dankeschön. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good
Bye.
Yom Tov,
Bye,
everyone.
Good
I'll talk to you, honey. Take care.
Okay.